Alright, The Monster Maker, another splendid flick from the Mill Creek Horror box set. It's an interesting tale about a man who sacrifices others in order to gain a cure for a disease while also having his own personal ape. Wait, this is sounding familiar. Maybe that's because it has the same kind of details that appeared in another film on this box set titled The Ape, a film from 1940 that starred Boris Karloff. Other than that, there's not much similarity, but I was constantly thinking back to that film. It also reminds me a lot of the movie The Monster Walks, a really bad film where a guy tries to frame a bunch of his murders on an ape. What was the obsession with apes in the 40s? Anyway, the movie begins with a long piano solo that's done pretty meticulously. I wonder if this guy was a real piano player, but it's pretty sad when the most notable thing about your acting career is being related to another famous actor. This is Ralph Morgan, who is the brother of Frank Morgan, who played the Wizard of Oz. Anyway, this guy is just going at it on the piano while a man in the audience notices Patricia, who happens to look a lot like his dead wife. J. Carroll Naish plays a man who's named Dr. Igor Markov. Okay, that's funny, like Igor from the Frankenstein series? In any case, this role is played pretty well, definitely a highlight from the movie. He's fast and demeaning, as a typical evil scientist should be, but he makes a forgettable role really memorable.
This will always remain an unforgettable moment in my life.
So Igor believes Patricia looks a lot like his dead wife, who passed away from a real disease known as Acromegaly, which can extend bones and mess up body proportions. The most notable people to have this disease were Andre the Giant and the guy who played Jaws in the James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me. So Igor decides he'll find a way to end up with Patricia while also working on a cure for the disease. Eventually, the piano man, who happens to be the father of Patricia, is injected with a serum that will give him the disease at a rapid rate, so Igor can use that to leverage the father into giving him a chance to be with Patricia, and then after that, he'll give him the cure to the disease. It's a very demented story that was always present during the early days of horror, and frankly, I love it. But of course, you're probably wondering about that ape. I have no idea why there is an ape in this movie, and it manages to be the worst looking ape in this box set yet. He is let loose by the doctor so his assistant can be attacked, only for Ace, the Wonder Dog, to save her. I guess the assistant was planning on quitting and the doctor wanted to take her out before she spread anything about his evil work, but the plan with the ape was really far-fetched. I feel like you're putting a lot of faith into that ape. I guess it's the only reason to include an ape in this movie. You know what? Next time I write a screenplay, I'm gonna throw an ape in there for no reason. Why not? The father ends up looking deformed, and while the makeup here is done pretty good, it's strange that he looks more like the guy from The Elephant Man rather than a guy with Acromegaly. It's kind of rude to title the film The Monster Maker when Acromegaly doesn't really make people look like monsters, let alone be real monsters. It's better than the original title though, which was The Devil's Apprentice. That would have been a bad clickbait title.
Yes, The Devil's Apprentice.
Anyway, it seems like the doctor may succeed, but the father ends up getting into a fight which involves a gun, which leads to the doctor's death. The father gets treated with the cure and everything goes back to normal. Overall, you can tell that this movie has a really low budget, and it was produced by the Producers Releasing Corporation, which did the slightly higher budget Dead Men Walk. While this movie is probably a little better than that one, it still has the same problems. The plot is merely good enough for a short story rather than a feature-length film, and even though the movie is only 62 minutes long, they still had to add a random storyline with an ape. That's right, I'm never getting over this ape. This is the kind of movie I maybe would watch as a double feature with another film of this kind, but it's overall kind of forgettable. I'll leave it up to you if you want to check this film out. Also, Glenn Strange is in this. I didn't even know that until I finished writing this thing.